From the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, you are tuned in to the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed. I shared something out earlier that I wanted to talk about, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on it unless, Stefan says air horn Monday. I'll give you an air horn, Stefan. I'll give you an air horn. You know, when I was a kid, my friends and I, when we'd, if we were walking somewhere and we'd see an 18-wheeler or a facsimile thereof, one of the big trucks, one of the big rigs driving by, we'd do like the horn motion. And then if the truck driver actually honked the horn, we were very excited by that. And if that sounds pathetic to you, keep in mind, we were children. We were young lads, we urchins, if you will. So we were easily amused. But we're going to put away the air horn for a few minutes because we're going to discuss a serious topic, which not everyone will be happy about, but it's something that's, and I'm not going to spend too long on it, I promise, but it is something I need to wade into very carefully because it's not only is it a sensitive issue, it is a major political issue. And there's a lot of rhetoric around this issue on both sides of it that I think is actually very toxic and damaging in some ways on both sides of it. And it's something we've discussed on the show before, but there's a reason that it's on my mind again today. And I have a little bit of a different take on it that I think is unique. So I wanted to address this because it relates to something that Tulsi Gabbard had said actually back in October, which is when this first sort of became a story. But I didn't realize it until this morning. So this morning I was listening to a segment on NPR. And I like NPR. I know my friend, the Honorable Gary S. Hopper, who's, he's a conservative Republican. He refers to it as National Propaganda Radio. But I like NPR, and I think they're very good. So I was listening to this segment on there, and they were discussing. They had a few guests, and they were revisiting, and I'm not sure exactly why today specifically it came back up, but they were revisiting something Tulsi Gabbard had said regarding the issue of abortion, and this was something Tulsi had said back in October that I thought was interesting. Excuse me. And it kind of reflects something that I feel. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but the time that I do spend on this, you might have to be a little bit patient with me because this is a difficult thing to articulate, and I don't want anything I say to be taken wrong or out of context, which will happen anyway. Some of you, because this is an issue that people are very passionate about, some of you, be you pro-choice or pro-life, will take this. Will take something that I say here today out of context. But there's a new article. Well, actually, I'm going to go back. You know what? I'm going to do this article from Vox as kind of a reference point. That's actually from back in October. There are more recent articles about this and opinion pieces that have been written. And like I said, they did a segment today on NPR about it. But it relates to something Tulsi Gabbard had said. Tulsi said back in October that, and I don't have the clip pulled, but she said something about she didn't agree with Hillary Clinton on much. And by the way, I think this was before Hillary accused her of being a Russian asset. She said, or a plant. She said that she didn't agree with Hillary on much, but that she did agree with her on one thing, which I think was something that, hello to Amy Hazard King, who joins us, which I think was something that Bill Clinton had originally said when running for president in 1992, when the rhetoric around the issue of abortion was a little bit different than it is now. Tulsi said that she agreed that abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. That is what Bill Clinton said when running for president back in 1992. Pro-choice, but abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. And apparently, Tulsi repeating that back in October and finding common cause with that phrase and that position has set off this sort of, here we are a month later, and her comments have set off this sort of slowly brewing, I can't say a firestorm because it wasn't immediate, but it's been slowly building the reaction to this, because there are people on the left in the pro-choice camp who are upset with her. And this may explain, too, why some people on the right are sympathetic to Tulsi. If there's one Democrat that some people on the right actually seem to like, it's Tulsi. And I thought, excuse me, I thought initially, I should mute myself when I cough. I apologize. I thought initially it had more to do with, the wing of the Republican Party that is sort of war weary, and maybe, they love Trump, but they don't love him quite so much that they're not at least willing to consider an alternative, even though said alternative has no chance of winning the nomination of her party or being president. Maybe they're war weary enough that they're interested in her anti-war message and whatnot. But now I'm wondering, because what she had said totally got past me when she said it. Now, you might not think, depending on what your perspective is, you might not think that the phrase, or to use the phrase in the statement that abortion should be, or we should do everything we can to make abortion safe, legal, and rare. You might not think that there was anything controversial in that, right? Because if you're pro-choice, you want it to be safe, right? And I know if you're pro-life, you say, well, what's safe about it? You're killing a fetus. I know, but just bear with me here. Okay. So if you're pro-choice, you want it to be safe and you want it to be legal because you want to protect a woman's right to choose and reproductive rights and so forth. But the rare part is troubling for some people. Now, it is not troubling for me. I like the phrase safe, legal, and rare because I think that's exactly what we should be aiming for. And, but apparently there are a lot of people on the left who don't like the phrase safe, legal, and rare because they feel that the use of the word rare attaches an undeserved stigma to abortion. Now, before I go any further with this, and I tell you what I think and why I like the phrase safe, legal, and rare, let me just, clarify for everybody. I'm coming at this from the point of view of being pro-choice. I consider myself to be pro-choice. Now, when I explain this to people, more often than not, I do find myself saying I consider myself pro-choice instead of just flatly saying I am pro-choice, only because what my idea of pro-choice is might not necessarily comport with what everybody else's idea of pro-choice is. But my idea of pro-choice is basically that, yes, you should protect a woman's right to choose. It's important to protect women's reproductive rights. As a male, I am not comfortable ever telling any female what to do with her body and all of it. Okay. So I'm on board with all of that. Okay. And that does not mean, by the way, that I am, and this is what gets pro-choicers upset and me as well. I do not like to be called quote unquote pro-abortion. I am not pro-abortion. I am pro-choice. So I don't like it when pro-lifers refer to people like me as pro-abortion. But I am pro-choice. But part of why I find it so offensive to be called pro-abortion is, and I think I speak for a lot Not all, though, and that's where this all gets a little complicated, right? But I think I speak for a lot of my fellow pro-choicers when I say, hey, I don't think abortion is a good idea. I think it's something you should try to avoid. I would not encourage people to get an abortion. So I'm not pro-abortion. I'm not advocating for abortion. You know, I'm not standing outside of Planned Parenthood with a megaphone saying, hey, stop on in and get your abortion. Come on in. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm not pro-abortion. But I am pro-choice. Because what a woman chooses to do is none of my business. I might personally think it's a bad idea if you can help it. But I don't, especially, look, I don't know you if you choose to do that. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I don't know your circumstances. I don't know what's going on with you health-wise. I don't know what's going on in your personal life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't have any lady parts. So that is the ultimate disqualifier as far as I'm concerned. So, the joke I made the one day on the show about, finding out I do have fallopian tubes notwithstanding, that was a joke. Okay, so, but that doesn't mean, I'm enthusiastic about abortion. I believe that abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. So I have zero issue with what Tulsi Gabbard said. Now, I have to address my fellow pro-choicers. And this has been on my mind and getting into this on the show, actually for a very long time. But I just hadn't quite found the right moment, I thought, to say what I have to say. Because I'm going to upset some people who are on my side of the issue. I've got, for my fellow pro-choice peeps here, I've got some constructive criticism for you. But it's what I'm going to say. I say it with love. I say it with solidarity because I'm with you. I am pro-choice, okay? And some of my fellow pro-choicers hopefully will consider what I'm going to say to you today. Many of you won't. Some of my pro-choice listeners will probably be infuriated with me and shut the show off and never listen to me again. But, let's have a little bit of an honest dialogue here. The rare in the safe, legal, and rare is not about stigmatizing anyone who chooses to have an abortion or is considering having an abortion. That's not what the rare is about. But just as my friends on the pro-life side take everything to the furthest possible extreme, to the point where they don't even want people to have access to the morning after pill, because they go around talking about how the morning after pill causes an abortion, which it doesn't. And they go around talking about how the morning after pill is the same thing as RU486, the abortion pill, which it's not. My friends on the pro-life side will look you in the face and flat out lie to you about what is an abortion and what is not an abortion. Okay? But we got some problems on the pro-choice side too. We do. The rare in safe, legal, and rare is not about stigmatizing anybody. It's not about making anybody feel bad about their choices. Hello to Dr. Jeff Cassell in the Facebook live chat. It's not about any of that. The rare in the safe, legal, and rare is the idea that while, yes, we need to keep it safe for a woman having an abortion, and we need to keep it legal. We need to protect your right to an abortion, but we should also make it as unnecessary as possible. As unnecessary as possible. That's what the rare is. So those of you, and again, I'm pro-choice. I'm with you. I say this with love. But those of you on the pro-choice side who are so hung up and triggered by that word rare, you need to get over it. Because here's where, now again, there's a lot of polarization on this issue, and that's why the rhetoric has changed. Because back in 1992, when Bill Clinton was running for president and used the phrase safe, legal, and rare, the Republicans and Democrats were not as far apart on the abortion issue. And there was more, like on a million other things, right? The polarization was not as prevalent as it is now. You've seen, you've seen the pro-life side go to the point where, it's written into Republican platforms, no exceptions, even for rape and murder. Again, they don't want you to have access to the morning after pill. You've got the Christian evangelicals who think that using any kind of birth control at all is the same thing as an abortion, and that if you use birth control, you're a murderer, and procreation, sex is only for procreation and expanding your family and all. I mean, they've really gone to the extreme, right? But so has the pro-choice side. Because you can't even say anymore, you can't say the word rare. And it's bizarre. And let me tell you where both sides get this wrong. Because there's a through line here. There's an element of this which both sides get wrong that connects, and it's this. Okay. We live in an era. Stefan's going, OMG, this topic on a Monday. Yeah, Stefan. Couldn't wait any longer. We live in an era where there should be very, very little unwanted pregnancy. Now, again, things happen, things go wrong. But this is not, please, I don't want to be misunderstood on this. I'm not trying to stigmatize or shame anybody. No. Huh, no, like at the top of the show. But please understand that. However, we live in an era where there should be very little unwanted pregnancy with birth control and the accessibility of it and so forth. That's a fact. And the pro-lifers don't like to admit this because it hurts their argument. But we have seen a steady drop. This is true. You can look it up. This is a statistic fact. We have seen a steady drop year over year, a steady decline in the numbers of unwanted pregnancies, the numbers of teen pregnancies. Oh, and guess what? The number of abortions. Go figure. And you know what we've seen an increase in year over year? Sex ed classes in schools, educating kids about birth control, accessibility and availability of birth control. We have a call. We'll grab this. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is EGG.
Hey, Eric, do you have anything on this topic? Because if you don't, I'm going to ask you to call back.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I know it's a little unusual, Eric, but I gotta stay on topic with this one. It's too sensitive to stop and do something.
All right.
Can you call me?
All right. Well, we'll talk to you later.
Call me back in the second
I'll
hour.
leave that topic alone for now.
Okay. Bye.
I understand.
All right.
No problem.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Bye-bye. Okay. Eric, call back in the second hour if you want. No, but I invite anyone to call just if you want to talk about this, but I can't divert from this at the moment. Oh, I thought somebody else was calling. So, so we're actually trending in the right direction, and pro-lifers don't like to admit that because it hurts their sort of narrative that their narrative that, more and more people are having abortions all the time and abortion is out of control and everyone's getting an abortion and we've devolved into a country of baby murderers and all that. Look, I'll tell you what, I used to do a show. I used to be the co-host on a show called Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades with my good friend, the Honorable Gary S. Hopper. And he is a good friend, and I love Gary. He's a great person. And but he's very much, a conservative Republican and very pro-life. And he would bring on a lot of guests. Most of the guests, of course, would be conservative Republicans and very pro-life. And I could not even tell you the number of times when I would, talk about, we would be discussing this topic on Gary's show. And I would bring up that I'm laughing at a comment in the Facebook live chat, which I will read in a second because that is funny. But I would bring up, hey, apparently when you make birth control more available and not less, and apparently when you educate people on how to use it instead of sticking your head in the sand, apparently the numbers trend in a positive way. Imagine that. You have less unwanted pregnancy overall. You have less teen pregnancy. You have fewer abortions happening. Wow, imagine that. And I could not tell you how many times on that show I would bring this up to these pro-life, Christian, conservative Republicans who would just look me in the face and say things like, oh, I don't believe that. That's not true. It's like, okay, well, sorry, it doesn't comport with your narrative that the country has descended into some sort of abortion-happy hellscape, but these are facts, I guess facts don't matter when you just really want to be able to tell women what to do with their bodies, but yeah, facts matter. So there you go. I deal in facts. Sorry. And I met a lot of great people on that show, but you can give them information and data and they'll just say, no, I don't believe you. It's like, okay. That's why I always say we live in a post-truth, post-fact world where there really is no truth anymore. There are no facts because everyone just believes whatever they want to believe. So how can there be objective reality if everyone's just walking around in their own fantasy land in their head? But the through line here, where both the pro-choice and the pro-life side get it wrong, is on birth control and contraception and so forth, right? The pro-lifers get it wrong because they want you to have less access to birth control, especially, oh my goodness, especially if you're a teenager. Oh, and by the way, that reminds me, another number trending in a positive direction. Statistics show that teens are actually waiting longer to become sexually active. Did you know this? So there you go. So that's another thing that contributes to less teen pregnancy. Teens are actually waiting longer. That's a good thing, right? Again, I know that doesn't comport with the conservative narrative that everything's going to hell. But no, there's actually good things happening. Sorry. So anyway, on the topic of birth control, so conservatives get it wrong in that they think the answer is less access to birth control, less education, stick your head in the sand, make your children stick their heads in the sand, and just hope that they don't become sexually active and make a mistake. And that's the way to deal with it. That's the way to deal with it, right? That's what they think. And some of them, that literally is what they think. I'll tell you another thing that happened when I was Gary's co-host. We had a Republican on. Some of you might know her, Janine Notter. I think she's a former state rep, very pro-life. And I think that was the last time I saw Janine was on Gary's show. So I don't know her. I just know her from Gary's show. We're acquaintances. She probably doesn't even remember me. And she seemed like a very nice person. Let me say that. Janine seems like a very nice person, but Janine Notter sat on that show. I can find the video of it if anyone doesn't believe me, because I have all the video. They're all on YouTube. Janine Notter sat on that show and said, swear to God, even some of you pro-lifers will get a chuckle at this. She actually said, you know how you stop teenagers from having sex, you stop talking about it. The only reason teens have sex and have these unwanted pregnancies is because we talk to them about sex. Take the sex ed out of the schools and they won't do it. Out of sight, out of mind. Now, when she said that, out of sight, out of mind, just don't bring it up and they won't be thinking about sex. I turned to her and I said to her, and she had a good sense of humor about it, to her credit. I said to her, I just have to ask, what planet are you from? Or what parallel universe do you exist in? And how are you able to travel between that one and here? And she laughed. I don't think she got my point, but she laughed, at least. She didn't get angry with me for saying that. But it had to be said. What an insane thing to say. Oh, just don't talk about it, and then they won't be thinking about it. Out of sight, out of mind. I went to a Catholic school. There was no classes about that in a Catholic school. Okay. But you think I wasn't thinking about it? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Rick Perry, the first time he ran for president, I saw an interview with him where he was talking about he was and probably still is very proud of the abstinence only education policy in Texas. Abstinence only meaning that's what they tell the kids in school in Texas. There's no sex ed. There's no talk about birth control. There's no talk about reproduction. None of it. It is abstinence only. And he's very proud of, that's part of his legacy as governor of Texas. And an interviewer, I don't remember who was interviewing him, but an interviewer asked him, Governor Perry, you claim that this works, and yet, while your home state of Texas has the strictest abstinence-only education policy in the country, your home state of Texas also has the highest rate of teen pregnancy in the country. To which Rick Perry replied, all I know is abstinence works. That was his defense of that. So that's where the pro-lifers get it wrong. If they really want to, and I used to make this point all the time on Gary's show, if they really want to reduce abortions, to continue the positive trend in this country of reduced abortions, excuse me, the correct tactic would be, in my view, to continue to encourage use of birth control and to encourage making smart decisions about sex and so forth. Because in the places where they do that, guess what happens? They have lower rates of teen pregnancy. The pro-lifers, they're never going to do that because they think the second that you open that door, it's the exact same thing as encouraging them all to have sex. You know, it's like they don't think that maybe, just maybe, people, even teenagers, are more sophisticated than that, and that you can communicate the message, hey, this isn't something you should be doing until you're absolutely ready and mature enough to handle it. But if you decide to do it, here's how you should do it to be safe. Apparently, teenagers can handle that because in places where they do that, it works. But pro-lifers don't believe that. They reject that idea. So that's the end of the, you know, that's where the pro-lifers get the whole birth control thing wrong. But again, the pro-choicers get it all wrong too. And one more time, just this quick disclaimer, I consider myself pro-choice. Many of you listening who are pro-choice do not want to hear what I'm about to say. And you're going to be mad at me about it. You're going to be resentful. And some of you will even say, oh, that Matt Connarton, he says he's pro-choice, but he doesn't sound very pro-choice. But the show's called Unleashed for a reason. So here we go. Part of the birth control thing that the pro-choicers don't seem to get is the message needs to be, in my opinion, we need to protect your right to choose. We need to protect your right to access to an abortion. No restrictions. Well, maybe, putting aside the whole third trimester thing, but I just mean no restrictions as in, we're not going to, because pro-lifers want you to do things like, if you are going to get an abortion, worst case scenario, if you are going to have one, they want you to watch a video first about the joy of childbirth or something. They have all kinds of weird ideas about what you have to do before you, to make the entire process even that much more devastating for you. But what I think the pro-choice message should be is, no shame, no stigma attached to it, no judgment. It's your body. You're going to do what you want. We're going to protect your right to do what you want. And this is the part that should be included that is never included. It was at one time, but now it's gone because just like the pro-lifers have gone to the extreme, so have the pro-choicers. The thing that needs to be included is, hey, and by the way, you can't avoid ending up in this situation most of the time. Right? So, as people who are pro-choice, as we protect your right to an abortion, we also want to make abortions more rare. So, as we do that, as we are working to protect your rights, we also want to continue to educate people on ways to avoid unwanted pregnancy. Now, the pro-choice movement, it is my impression, and again, I know it's tough love. You don't want to hear this, but I'm with you. But I want us to be strong together in our pro-choiceness. The pro-choice movement seems to feel that if you even so much as hint at the idea that maybe we should try to avoid unwanted pregnancy, that is the same thing as shaming everyone who's ever had an abortion. And I'm sorry, but it's not. And it's the same, it's the other side of the coin. It's the same kind of reductive reasoning that the pro-lifers use, just in the opposite direction. It's ridiculous. Telling people, hey, let's work together to try to make this as rare as possible while protecting your right to do this if you feel that it's something you want to do. That is not the same as shaming or stigmatizing or any of that. So we need to get past that. And that is why there are people on the left, on the pro-choice side, who are now apparently furious with Tulsi Gabbard. Because Tulsi Gabbard, God bless her, I like her more and more all the time. Tulsi Gabbard had the nerve to use that phrase, safe, legal, and rare. And everybody on the pro-choice side, they hear the word rare and they go, oh, rare? Why should it have to be rare? See, because here's the thing. And this is the other little, I need a drink of water. This is the other little part of that my friends, my allies on the pro-choice side don't want to hear. You don't want to hear this part. If you're getting triggered, if you're pro-choice and you're getting triggered and you're sitting there listening to me going, oh, Matt's not a real pro-choicer, you might want to shut this off because somebody's got to say this. You need to hear it. When the pro-lifers say that so many people who are pro-choice, they seem to be almost callous about abortion, as though they think that it's something to be encouraged and celebrated. You know what, guys? They kind of have a point. They kind of have a point because some of you do come off that way. That's a tough thing to hear. I don't like saying it because I share your position. But some of you do come off that way. Some of you do come off like, and you know what? And the only reason you come off that way is because if someone's like Tulsi Gabbard says, hey, we should make abortion safe, legal, and rare, you get so triggered over the word rare. It's like people on the pro-life side look at you and they're like, hey, what's wrong with making it rare? Why is that so bad? What could possibly be wrong with making it rare? Don't you get it? When they call us pro-abortion instead of pro-choice, you know why they do that? Part of why they do it? I mean, part of it is it's, as John Hopwood likes to say, a rhetorical strategy, right? But you know why else they do it? Because some of us on our side of the issue do come off a little like, well, well, we can't make it rare. It needs to just be abortion on demand and that's it. It's like, no. See, it used to be, before the two sides were so polarized, that we could have discussions about, well, how do we lower the rate of abortion? And by the way, and apparently, in some parts of the country, that discussion has been had and is being had because, like I said, those numbers are trending positively. But now it's all or nothing on both sides. It is all or nothing. You've got the pro-lifers who don't even want you to use birth control, and you've got the pro-choicers who don't even want to hear anything about making it rare. They want it safe and legal. They don't want to hear about making it rare. And that's not helpful. It's not helpful. Now, I know why this happens. And it's why it happens with so many political issues. But I think on the issue of abortion, I think it's probably the best example. I think the rhetoric around this issue is probably the single best example in our political discourse of this phenomenon. It's the whole slippery slope idea where, the polarization happens in large part because both sides stake out the most extreme positions, because if they compromise even the slightest bit, it becomes a slippery slope. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So if we compromise even a tiny bit, it's the camel's nose under the tent. It's a slippery slope. So, and that's how both sides see it. Pro-lifers see it as, well, if we even give the tiniest bit and say, okay, well, we still want to restrict abortion, but, exceptions for rape and incest are okay, which used to be the standard position of Republicans, by the way. At least moderate Republicans would say, okay, well, I'm pro-life, but at least rape and incest, there should be an exception. But now, no. Now they're all, not all, but now most of them are like, nope, no exceptions, period. It's murder, that's it. Right? So they won't even give on that anymore, because they feel like if they even so much as give on that, it's a slippery slope. Pro-choicers, they look at it as, if you start being more open to, increased legislation about third trimester abortions, which from what I understand don't happen to begin with unless it is a medical emergency, as in the mother's life is in danger. So I kind of roll my eyes when pro-lifers are constantly bringing up the third trimester abortions, because from what I've read, those don't actually happen unless they're medically necessary to begin with. But they raise money. The pro-lifers raise lots of money going around claiming that, there's all these women having third trimester abortions, even though that's not true. But pro-choicers, they see the slippery slope as, well, I'll give you an example. Here's a slippery slope that the pro-choicers worry about. And I'm not saying they're wrong or that we're wrong, because again, I'm pro-choice. I'm not saying that we're wrong to worry about this, but when pro-lifers try to do, say, for example, they tried to do it here in New Hampshire. They've done it in many states, or they've tried to do it in many states. The fetal heartbeat bill, where they try to declare that the fetus as a person, once it has a heartbeat. And that's a way of kind of, curbing or trying to limit abortion. They say, okay, well, once it has a heartbeat, you can't, you can't have the abortion at that point. Or the fetal homicide bill. That's actually the one I was trying to think of. I forgot it for a second. The fetal homicide bill, which I remember discussing on Gary's show when they tried to do that here in New Hampshire, was, if a pregnant woman is in a car accident and the accident is the other driver's fault, but the pregnant woman loses her baby in the accident. Well, now you charge the person whose fault the accident was with murder because it's fetal homicide. And again, that's a slippery slope, right? Because now if someone who causes a car accident, which results in a woman losing her baby, if we're now attaching the word quote unquote homicide to that, then obviously an abortion must also be a homicide, right? So, but the thing is, and this is where I get stuck. Because I'm not sure what the answer is here either, by the way. Maybe one of you do. But these slippery slopes are not unreasonable to worry about. Like, as someone who's pro-choice, it's kind of a conundrum. As someone who's pro-choice, on the one hand, I can say, well, I wish the discussion was a little more moderate on both sides, like it was when Bill Clinton ran for president in 92, and he talked about safe, legal, and rare, and maybe there could be a little more compromise and things could be a little more productive, it's easy to say that, but then I think, but these slippery slopes, like the fetal homicide bill, that's a legitimate concern if you're someone who's pro-choice. That's a legitimate worry. Because actually, yeah, that is the camel's nose under the tent. Because, like I just said, you give in on that. Okay, well, now you've let the other side, you've allowed them to declare that fetus is a person which can be murdered. Therefore, abortion, the next logical step is, okay, so I guess abortion is murder. I want to, and we'll wrap up on this issue probably Jesus, already at the top of the hour. We'll wrap up on this soon. But I want to get to the comments in the Facebook live chat. Let's see. Michael Albers said Eric's fanny pack is birth control. That's the comment that I was chuckling at earlier. Stephen Philbrook says, I have found that people are either pro-choice or pro-birth. Pro-lifers are not for anything but birth. Oh, right. In other words, it's the idea that, conservatives are, they're all for forcing you to bring a child into the world if there's a pregnancy. But once the child is in the world, they don't care anything about it because, a lot of people with unwanted pregnancies, they then have, they're poor, and then they have children born into poor families, and conservatives who are pro-life, they want to make sure you have that baby, but then they don't want anybody to do anything to help you with the baby because that's our tax dollars paying for you to have babies. And, and there was Reagan with the welfare queen and that whole thing. Stefan said, when the religious pro-birthers believers sit there in their church pews on Sunday, they need to ask their God, why are you the biggest aborter? So many miscarriages or God abortions, quote unquote. That's true. And that's part of the problem too. Some of these laws that the pro-lifers want to enact have the potential. We've seen this happen in other countries where women get into very serious trouble for having a miscarriage through no fault of their own. But they're then blamed for killing their own baby because they had a miscarriage. So the slippery slope concern is legitimate. So again, like I was saying before, that's where I get stuck. On the one hand, I want to have a more reasonable discussion where everybody's not hanging out on the fringes on either side. But on the other hand, the slippery slope is real. It is real. So I'm not sure what to do. Heidi Hamer says, the Honorable Heidi Hamer says, some people, geez, keep it under the bed sheets. Stefan says, I think Hillary dumped the rare when she ran in 2016. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know who, since back in 92, I don't know who on the left has said that. Because you can't say that now. Because because then, people on the pro-choice side, they take it wrong. Oh, rare. You can't say rare. And obviously, again, the backlash against Tulsi is an example of that. Stefan says, I'm pro-choice and think abortion is rare, and stats show that it is becoming more rare. Exactly. As I was saying earlier, Stefan. Yeah, absolutely. So clearly we're doing something right when you increase education and when you increase access to birth control. Unwanted pregnancies decline, abortions decline. It's that simple. Archie Frangudis joins us in the Facebook live chat. Stefan says, a teratoma can have a rudimentary heartbeat. Why would a lifer think if the tumor is removed, can I introduce you to my sibling teratoma? Let's see. Stefan says, slippery slope becomes a hill once the issue starts sliding. Well, that's the problem. Now, before we wrap up on this, I'm going to take one more gulp of water here. And at the top of the hour, I'll play something and we'll kind of reset. We'll have some fun in the second hour. Maybe Easy G will call back. But this is the story I wanted to kind of reference here. This was from Vox.com. And again, this was back in October. How the abortion debate moved away from safe, legal, and rare. Democratic politicians used to say abortions should be rare. Here's how that changed. Now, this is just a short, actually, it's a longer article than I thought. We won't go through the whole thing, but this is what kind of got my neurons firing on this. So, because this will refresh us on what Tulsi actually said. So Representative Tulsi Gabbard said at the Democratic presidential debate, quote, again, this was back in last month, about a month ago. I agree with Hillary Clinton on one thing. Abortion should be safe, legal, and rare. Clinton used that language in her 2008 presidential campaign. I didn't realize she had used it even then. Bill Clinton, meanwhile, had introduced it into Democratic politics in 92. The language was likely meant to appeal to people who supported the right to an abortion in principle, but still felt morally conflicted about the procedure, which I would fall into that. A large group, according to some polling. But many abortion rights advocates argued that calling for the procedure to be rare placed stigma on people who seek it. By the way, okay, before I read more of this, I don't want to belabor the point, but again, let's just think about it. If you said, or if I said to you, I want chemotherapy to have to be rare, would you then think that I was putting some sort of stigma on cancer patients who get chemotherapy treatments? Or would you think that I was saying that I wanted to make cancer rare? I want cancer to be rare. Therefore, the need for chemotherapy to be rare. Like, if I said that to you, you wouldn't think, oh, Matt's stigmatizing cancer patients who get chemotherapy patients. Would you? Right? That would be bizarre. So why is it with this that puts a stigma on it? Saying make it rare. Destiny Lopez, co-director of the All Above All Action Fund, a nonprofit that works to expand abortion access, said, quote, there's a fundamental notion of bodily autonomy that we've been fighting for as advocates and activists on this issue for years, unquote. She said that saying abortion should be rare, quote, completely negates all the work that we've done to really make this about the ability to decide what's best for your body, for your family, for your community, unquote. How? See, that's the mentality. Using the word rare just is going to set the whole thing back as far as abortion rights. Why? Why does it? This is the mindset. This is the problem. Again, this is what I say to my fellow pro-choicers. This is the problem. We need to get over this because I don't agree with her. I don't get it. Someone explain it to me. Over the years, Democrats have become more sympathetic to this view. By 2016, Hillary Clinton had changed her message, saying only that abortion should be safe and legal. It was part of a broader shift in the party toward a more full-throated support of abortion rights. During the 2016 primaries, both Clinton and Sanders called for a repeal of the Hyde Amendment. I don't want to get sidetracked with that. Okay, skipping down. But as Gabbard showed, the framing of safe, legal, and rare isn't gone. Her comment and the conversation surrounding it were a reminder not just of how much the Democratic Party has changed in recent years on abortion rights, but the divisions that still remain. The phrase safe, legal, and rare entered common usage during 92 when Bill Clinton frequently used it. Quote, we have to remind the American people once again that being pro-choice is very different from being pro-abortion, unquote, he told the Congressional Women's Caucus that year. Yes, and he's right about that. He was right when he said that. We have to remind people that being pro-choice is different from being pro-abortion. As I said earlier, protecting a woman's right to choose and encouraging women to have an abortion are not the same damn thing. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to say, but apparently you can no longer hold that position and be pro-choice. During her 2008 presidential campaign, Hillary echoed her husband's message, emphasizing that, quote, by rare, I mean rare, unquote. But over the years, abortion rights activists have pushed back against that phrase. Safe, legal, and rare implies that getting an abortion is something that, quote, you should be apologetic for, unquote, reproductive justice activist Renee Bracey Sherman told Vox. Quote, it places the... This is... Wait till you hear this. Again, somebody explain to me the logic here. How does one arrive at this conclusion? She says, quote, it places the blame on the person who's had an abortion as if they just did something wrong to need one, rather than addressing the systemic issue as to why someone might not be able to have access to consistent health care or contraception, unquote. I want to read that again because I see more than one issue with that statement that I want to point out. Again, this was Renee Bracey Sherman. She's a reproductive justice advocate, activist. Here's what she said. Again, this is her problem with the word rare. Quote, it places the blame on the person who's had an abortion as if they just did something wrong to need one, rather than addressing the systemic issue as to why someone might not be able to have access to consistent health care or contraception, unquote. I've got two big problems. Number one, let's think about this logically. Again, let's use other examples. If I said to you, I want to make homelessness rare, because homelessness is a problem in the city and in probably every city in America to varying degrees, right? Homelessness is a problem. If I say to you, I want to make homelessness rare, are you going to say to me, Matt, that's offensive? By you saying you want to make homelessness rare, you're stigmatizing homeless people and you're blaming them for their own homelessness. Would you say that to me? If I said to you, I think we should make homelessness rare? If I said to you, speaking a little more broadly, I want to make poverty rare, I think there's too much poverty. We live in the richest, most successful country in the history of the world. We shouldn't have poverty. This is a rich country. I want to make poverty rare. Imagine I'm a candidate for office and I say to you, I want to make poverty rare. Would you then say to me, Matt, why are you stigmatizing and shaming people who are living in poverty by using the word rare? You're implying that they're doing something wrong by living in poverty, that they've done something to deserve their situation. That's not nice. I'm very triggered by your use of the word rare. Would you say that to me if I said to you, I want to make poverty rare? In what other instance does using the word rare become so deeply offensive? In what other instance? I can't think of one. And yet, apparently, when we're talking about abortion, if you say you want to make it rare, you've now shamed and stigmatized everyone who's ever had or is considered having an abortion. It doesn't make sense. The logic doesn't hold up. And again, I say this with love to my fellow pro-choicers. It's tough love, but you all got to hear it. This is why when the pro-lifers say, hey, you guys all seem like you just want lots of abortions going on all over the place, they kind of have a point. Because we can't even talk about making it rare. When we all know, isn't that the one thing we can all agree on? Whether you're pro-choice or pro-life, can we all at least agree on this one thing, that rare would be great? Right? Isn't that the optimum? To make it rare? Wouldn't that be a good thing? We can all agree on that, I think. So what's the problem? Getting back to this. Stefan has a great example. Stefan says, I want to make mass shootings rare. Well, yep, Stefan, be careful. You wanting to make mass shootings rare, you've now stigmatized all the victims of mass shootings. It's like by saying you want to make mass shootings rare, you're saying that people who are victims of mass shootings did something to deserve getting shot, clearly. How dare you? Stefan also said, OMG, enough, really, quote, negate all the work, blah, 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 unquote. This is an example of how the DNC can't get out of their own way and have their heads in the sand. I absolutely agree, Stefan. I absolutely agree. And I love your mass shootings example. That is perfect. Getting back to this, again, this is from Vox. The push to destigmatize abortion has been part of a larger rise in people who have had abortions being open about their experiences. Stefan says, I want to make obesity rare. I love the hop knot. Yes. Lopez also told Vox, quote, prior to 2016, we did not have a lot of people publicly saying the word abortion or talking about their firsthand experiences, but there has just been this seismic shift in the last few years where we've seen more public conversations about the realities of abortion access in this country, unquote. Wait a second. Now, so this same individual who a minute ago was talking about, who's like, oh, you can't use the word rare. We have to be very careful how we talk about this. Don't use that word. Then she's talking about how great it is that we can now have these open public discussions about abortions much more so than we could before. This is the kind of thing you run into with the PC crowd, right? The social justice warriors and whatnot. They all want everyone to, be able to express themselves however they want to, as long as they approve of how you do it. And if they don't approve of how you do it, even though they want you, in theory, to be able to do it, then they get upset with you. It's that same kind of thinking, right? Oh, I'm so glad that we're able to have these open discussions about this, these open debates, and I want to continue to do that as long as you use the words I approve of. It's the same kind of thinking. Let's see. Those realities have changed a lot since 92. Opponents of abortion have long sought to restrict the procedure, but after 2010, when Republicans took over many state legislatures, they successfully passed a slate of restrictions on abortion clinics that caused many facilities in the South and Midwest to close. Between 2011 and 2017, half of the clinics in Arizona, Kentucky, Ohio, and Texas shut their doors. In 2017, 89% of counties had no abortion clinic, and 6 states had just one. They made it much harder for many Americans to get an abortion, especially if they couldn't afford to travel to a faraway clinic. Meanwhile, Trump's election in 2016 was soon followed by the appointment of Gorsuch and Kavanaugh to the court. I'm going to skip down here. In a time when access is dwindling and Roe is at risk, referring to Roe v. Wade, advocates have argued that calling for abortion to be rare just makes it even harder for people who already struggle to get the procedure, who are disproportionately likely to be poor, people of color, LGBTQ, immigrants, or belong to more than one of these groups, to push for their right to get it. Lopez said, quote, "If there are barriers put in front of a person, the safe, legal, and rare framing implies that it does not matter because that procedure should be rare. So it essentially is denying these folks the ability to really access the care that they deserve," unquote. It's circular logic that she's using. It doesn't hold up. For that reason, the All Above All Action Fund says that abortion should be safe, legal, accessible, and affordable, not rare, Lopez said. I don't disagree with including those other things. How about safe, legal, accessible, affordable, and rare? How about that? Democratic candidates have been listening to the concerns like these, and in recent years, they've moved away from the safe, legal, and rare. The word rare was removed from the Democratic Party platform in 2012, Bracey Sherman said, and in 2016, Clinton no longer used it on the campaign trail. A discussion of abortion in her 2017 book, What Happened, showed how much the former candidate's language had changed on the issue. She wrote, quote, "We can debate the morality of abortion forever, but at the end of the day, who decides whether a woman gets or stays pregnant? I say let women decide," unquote. Well, I certainly agree with her there. Let's see. I'm skipping down again. Okay. But safe, legal, and rare isn't completely gone. Tulsi Gabbard, who once identified as pro-life but now says she supports abortion rights, used the phrase at the 4th presidential debate on Tuesday when she was again, remember, this was back in October, when asked how she would stop states from restricting abortion access. Gabbard went on to say this, quote, "We see how the consequences of laws that you're referring to can often lead to a dangerous place. I do, however, think that there should be some restrictions in place. I support codifying Roe v. Wade while making sure that during the 3rd trimester, abortion is not an option unless the life or severe health consequences of a woman are at risk," unquote. Nothing unreasonable there, except I would have left out the part about the 3rd trimester, only because, like I said, those abortions are incredibly rare to begin with. But anyway, many abortion rights activists criticized her response, but one, former Planned Parenthood President Leanna Wen, praised her, arguing that, quote, "We should reduce the need for abortions by investing in prevention," unquote. Right. Again, that is Leanna Wen, Dr. Leanna Wen. She is a former president of Planned Parenthood. And she said, quote, I want to read it again. It's simple. It's a simple common sense concept. "We should reduce the need for abortions by investing in prevention." Yes, it's that simple. And when you invest more in prevention, what happens when you prevent something? You make it rare. That's not a bad thing. Wen broke with her other abortion rights activists some time ago. When she was removed as Planned Parenthood's president in July, she said in a statement, quote, "I believe that the best way to protect abortion care is to be clear that this is not a political issue, but a healthcare one, unquote. I agree. Some said the group ousted her because it was looking for, quote, a more aggressive political leader, unquote, on abortion rights. Since she left Planned Parenthood, Wen has argued that the best way to build public support for abortion rights is to seek common ground with people who may be uncomfortable with the procedure, but want it to remain legal. Think about that. People who are uncomfortable with it, maybe have misgivings about it, maybe have moral and ethical qualms about it, but think it should be legally protected. Think about that. Think about how many people, probably millions of Americans would fall into that category. This is probably a pretty big pool of people, I would think. That's probably a large swath of the American electorate. She said, quote, "We need to stop treating those whose views differ from our own with scorn and suspicion and instead work together to safeguard our health, our rights, and our future," unquote. I'm skipping down again. She isn't the only abortion rights supporter to use safe, legal, and rare in recent months. In an interview with NPR's Sarah McCammon earlier this year, Pamela Moraldo, a former president of Planned Parenthood who resigned in 1995, said she wanted Planned Parenthood to return to that framing. She said, quote, "I think that people that are pro-choice are afraid of stigmatizing abortion when they say it should be rare, but that's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place that too many trips to the doctors, medical procedures, surgical procedures could be and should be prevented," unquote. In general, those who argue on behalf of prevention say that better access to contraception would naturally lead to abortion becoming more rare. Indeed, the abortion rate, this is an important fact, the abortion rate is at an all-time low in recent years, and experts say better access to long-acting reversible contraceptives like IUDs is likely the reason why. There's a little more to this. I will drop the, in fact, I'll do it right now. I'm going to drop the link to that article into the Facebook live chat for anyone who wants to see the whole thing. But I think that's pretty great. But I like the article because, again, this is something that I've wanted to talk about for a while, and hearing that segment on NPR this morning really kind of, like I said, it got the neurons firing in my brain. So some tough love from one pro-choicer to my pro-choice brethren. Nothing wrong with rare. It's like I said, isn't that the one thing that we can all definitely agree on? I would think, I would hope. From the studios of WMNH 95.3 FM in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire, you are tuned in to the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed. Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street. I'm not alone. Sitting at the news desk is Christian Lacoste. How are you, sir?
Hey. I'm pretty good.
Got your theme music going there. Your new theme music.
What's my new theme music? Hold on.
Did you forget already? Just 'cause you haven't been here in a while.
No, it's been a ride.
Yeah, it's a little
busy.
Little George Michael for you there, father figure. Remember?
Yep.
You told me how much you love this song and you like this one so much better than the other one we were using for you.
Oh, yeah, because now that one's outdated.
Right.
It's outdated.
But this song is timeless.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Timeless. So, excuse me. So, oh boy.
Please don't die, Matt.
It's probably karma. I deserve that. I deserve to choke. Anyway,
No.
so welcome back. No, I don't really.
Thanks. It's good to be back.
I
It's
don't
been
really
a while.
deserve to choke. Oh, yes, that too, yes. So I just want to explain to everybody something about what just happened. Because all of a sudden, the Facebook live chat was interrupted. I should say the Facebook live feed was interrupted while we had Mr. Vermin Supreme on. If you were paying attention to the Facebook live chat, you might have noticed something very strange was suddenly posted in the Facebook live chat under Matt Connarton Unleashed that I did not post, and neither did anyone else associated with the show. So it appeared that the page had been hacked, which was why I terminated the Facebook live feed and did a couple of security things before I restarted the Facebook live feed. So that's why I apologize for the sudden interruption to the Facebook feed during our conversation with Vermin Supreme. But that's why I had to do that, because clearly the page had been hacked. That happens occasionally with the Facebook, so had to take care of that. Stefan Philbrook really wants the... here you go.
He really wants the George Michaels?
He really wants the George Michael, yes.
George Michael.
Yes. So anyway, that's what happened there, and that's why I know toward the end of our discussion with Vermin, I may have sounded a little bit distracted. That's why. Now, if you were watching the show on Facebook and you missed, then obviously if that is how you were enjoying the show, you missed part of our conversation with Vermin. It will be up in a little bit at WMNHradio.org, where this show, as well as all the shows here at WMNH, are archived for your enjoyment. So you'll be able to...
I listen to them in work all the time.
There you go. Do you spend your entire day at work listening to Matt Connarton Unleashed?
Yep.
Good. That's what we like to hear, Christian. That's why we have you on.
We have me on because I don't know why we have me on. Sometimes
you come in here with compliments, and that's a wonderful thing. And we have a call. We'll grab this call. Well, hi. Welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Easy G.
Oh, Easy G.
Eric.
Well, boy, I have to... now, Easy G, of course, you have your own...
You better get his music on.
You have your own theme music, so we got to kill the father figure there. There we go.
I know I'm sexy. I've got the look that drives you go wild. I've got the move that really move. I said chill up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy. I'm just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
And as always, let's just remind everyone, Easy G, Eric Gagnon, he is a sexy boy, but he is not your boy toy. He's not a piece of meat, Christian. We needn't treat him as such.
Listen, I've challenged him to a boxing match. I've challenged Vermin Supreme. I don't know who else is next. If one of them two don't come through with this boxing match, man, I don't know, man.
Right. Well, you did say you would make short work of Eric.
I'll make short work of both of them.
Easy
Yeah,
G.
he probably would.
Ooh.
But anyways, I got a question for you, Matt.
Yes.
On another station there, I forget his name already, but he did a 24-hour marathon for
I
his
know what you're
son.
talking
He has
about.
diabetes. And he raised almost $75,000.
That
He went
was
from 2
on.
o'clock on Wednesday till about 2:30 on Wednesday. And he raised a whole mess of money, for the Diabetes Foundation.
Oh.
Do you think is that something you could do, Matt? Be on the air for consecutive hours like that?
I'll do better than that. I'll cure diabetes. How about that? I'm just going to need a little time. I might need, check back with me in a few decades.
Yeah.
I'll have it cured. I prefer the Wilford Brimley pronunciation, by the way. Diabetes. Remember Wilford Brimley with his enormous mustache?
Yeah.
He had a better mustache than John Bolton. And Wilford Brimley, he used to do the diabetes ads, and he used to do the Quaker Oats ads. Remember Quaker Oats? It's the right thing to do. And then it turned out that...
his original goal was to raise $25,000, and he raised almost 75,000.
Wilford Brimley, and then he had to.
No, this guy on the WAI, one of the workers there.
Because it turned out that
one guy called up. One guy called up, and he came on the air. And he said, "I'll give you $10,000."
Because there was a terrible scandal. It turns out that eating too much Quaker Oats actually gives you diabetes. Did you know that?
Say that again.
I'm trying to help you, EZG, because I know you eat a lot of Quaker Oats.
What about the Quaker Oats?
Nothing. So anyway, so I did hear. So it was a sports guy on WEEI. Yes, I did hear about this. He was doing some sort of marathon.
It went really well. I watched part of it.
Yeah, it was really funny. Lou Maloney was on, and his wife. They were on around midnight last night, and him and the guy running the marathon. Him and his wife were on, and they were talking about things they don't like about each other. And it was really funny.
Oh my goodness.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then before that they had the you can call up with any kind of sex question. Oh my god.
Oh, that's
They
people
also
called
had, who
up.
else
People
they
called
had
up with
on?
some pretty crazy questions.
Oh,
Like,
They had
wow.
They had Tom Brady on. They had Tom Brady on. They had someone from the
Larry
Bruins.
Bird was on at one point.
Larry
I heard.
Bird was
Tom
on.
Brady.
Yes, Tom Brady, and there was someone
Oh,
from
they
the
had
Bruins.
Alex Cora on.
They had Alex Cora on.
They're saying now that he might get suspended because the Houston Astros were caught cheating in the 2017 World Series, and he was the bench coach.
I know about that because I listened to Scott Farrell on the bench on another station that we won't
Scott
mention.
Farrell is the man.
I do love Scott. I could listen to him talk about anything. I could listen to him talk about diabetes and how Quaker Oats gives you diabetes. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to get sued. I'm only kidding about the Quaker Oats thing. Or am I?
It's amazing now how the Houston Astros had all their wins last year at home because they were cheating apparently.
But no, that was a
So it's
2017.
always easy to win when you cheat. It's always like they say in wrestling, right? If you can't win, right, you cheat. to win.
Bobby the Brain Heenan used to say, "Win if you can, cheat if you must." No, I'm sorry. Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat and never get caught.
Exactly.
Right.
Always cheat, but don't get
Like
caught.
Right.
like Eddie Guerrero used to say, cheating, lying, and stealing.
Yes. That was the song.
He was a heck of a wrestler back in the day.
Yes, he was. Now he's dead.
Rip.
Yeah, that was a good interview with Vernon Supreme.
Oh, did you enjoy that, EZG?
Yeah, he's been in the studio before. He's been on the Peter White Morning Show before, believe it or not.
Yes, I do believe that. I think I remember that. Have you ever? Will you be?
Hey, I get credit for anybody that wants to throw their name in the hat, but it's too bad he won't be able to be on the ballot, I guess.
Will you be voting for Vermin Supreme?
Diabetes.
Oh, probably not. No.
Thank you, Wilford. Diabetes.
But it looks like Dan Patrick is throwing his name in the hat. He's like every day. You ever notice that, Matt? Like every day, it seems like somebody throws their name out of the hat.
Oh, I'm
Then
sorry.
somebody throws their name in the hat.
I'm sorry, EZG. Did you say Deval Patrick has diabetes?
No, he threw his name in the hat to run for president in the New Hampshire primary.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I was going to say, poor Deval Patrick.
And then the other day, somebody dropped out. It's like every day, like almost seems like somebody drops out, and the next day, somebody drops in.
Right.
I have a question.
Isn't it too late?
Diabetes.
Thank you, Wilford. Diabetes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Diabetes.
Go ahead, Christian. Yes.
Is there write-ins on the ballot
I don't think there's any shot to win, do you?
for the national elections?
Is there a
What do
write-in?
you think, Matt?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can write in anybody you want.
Guys, let's write me in, please.
I was
All right?
I was thinking about writing in Wilford Brimley.
Diabetes.
No, let's write in Christian Lacoste. If you guys...
Matt,
Well, maybe you and Wilford Brimley could run together. You could be his VP.
No, I want to be the president.
You're too young. You have to. The minimum age is 35.
Diabetes.
That's okay. I can hack some database and say I'm 35.
You don't have diabetes, do you?
No, I don't have diabetes.
I don't think Dana Patrick has any shot to win as president of the United States.
Dana Patrick? Do you mean Deval Patrick? I don't think Dana Patrick is running.
Yeah, Deval Patrick. I think
Dana
he has zero
Patrick-
chance to win.
Dana Patrick is a NASCAR driver.
Is it? It's Danica,
It's
isn't it?
too
Yeah.
late. Too
What?
late for people
She
to
was
throw their
low-key
name in the hat.
my celebrity crush when I was little.
I'd vote for Danica Patrick.
Diabetes.
I would
Oh,
too.
there you go.
Yeah, she doesn't have diabetes, does she?
No.
I didn't think so. You don't have diabetes, do you,
Alrighty,
EZG?
boys. I'll let you go.
All right, EZG. What?
Bye.
I'm suddenly very concerned about EZG.
I know, me too. I'm worried. Really,
Diabetes.
I'm really worried right now.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Diabetes. Diabetes.
So, you got diabetes.
Well, I hope not.
Me too.
By the way, Jenny is currently at the Hop Knot. You should, everyone, you should go to the Hop Knot.
I was
see
just
Jenny.
stopped in there the other day.
Go there and have a delicious gourmet pretzel.
I stopped in there the other day to grab an application because I was looking to maybe do part-time there.
Right.
But then I realized it wouldn't be smart because I'm picking up like 72 hours a week.
You're working hard.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're,
This place isn't going to run itself.
right.
Gotta work out.
You're
Gotta work
taking
hard.
care of business. You a big Bachman Turner Overdrive fan? Remember that song? Taking care of business.
Yes.
Yes, I should play that to cleanse our palate of the diabetes, but I'm not going to. Let's see. Hello to Mike Pelopita, who's in the Facebook live chat,
Mike, how you doing, buddy?
as well as Brian Mackey, all the way from Idaho. Let's see. Jenny is in there as well.
Hi, Brian.
And Sir John of Heichel joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, John. Stefan Philbrook joins us. He's the one who said more George Michael, please. And and Stefan said, because when Easy G called, you're interrupting George Michael because we had to play Easy G's theme music. He said, this is the perfect balance of George Michael and Matt Connarton. Stefan said, not only is Easy G not a boy toy, he's pretty strong. He's pretty strong. My hand still has, he's pretty strong. My hand still is not healed from his strong fist bump that I received from him on Monday. Oh, my goodness.
Man, you should go get that checked out then. Go down to the urgent care or something.
Easy G's a very strong man.
Well, he's very strong, but he still won't cut no boxing promo on me, man.
Right.
I'm sitting here. I've been sitting here for 3 months now waiting for him. What is it with him? Is it his management or is he a one-man team?
Maybe it's his diabetes.
Yeah, maybe it's his diabetes.
Yeah.
But I'm itching for a boxing match. Someone box me, please.
Right.
Diabetes.
Someone,
Diabetes.
please.
Diabetes.
You should do a fundraiser to fight diabetes.
I should do a lot of things.
No, but seriously, does Wilford Brimley not have? Do you even know who Wilford Brimley is?
The name sounds familiar.
Let me tell you something. This man has the mustache. I think he's still alive. Well, I hope he still has his mustache. It's like you almost can't see his head.
That's a pretty.
It's under
outrageous,
all this
outrageous.
Yeah, you almost can't see him. It's like you see all this hair and then a couple of eyes, and a guy with diabetes apparently.
Diabetes.
Yeah, and in this particular video, he has a big belt buckle.
You know, we could also do a charity boxing match to raise money for the city skate park.
Right. Yes.
That's another thing. Me and I've been progressing a lot in scootering, and doing all those action sports and stuff now. I think that's why I want to do a boxing match.
You getting that exercise, that's a good way to avoid diabetes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good for you.
Diabetes.
Let's see. Stefan says, I want my pony Vernon 2020. Candace Johnson joins us. I haven't seen Candace in the Facebook live chat in a long time. Welcome back, Candace. Stefan is asking, does Christian promote free ponies and good dental hygiene?
Thank you, Wilford.
I
Diabetes.
promote more than that, okay?
Yes.
Free college, free lunch
Wow.
for everyone.
So you're more of a socialist.
I don't know what I am.
You're voting for Elizabeth Warren, it sounds like, if you want free college
No.
and free lunch. Is that what you said?
Ew. Ew. Isn't she like the Pocahontas scandal lady?
Oh,
I forgot her name.
Yeah, but this
No, we're not gonna talk about that. I don't.
Well, you can talk about it, but I
don't even.
It's just very Republicans.
She's irrelevant
follow
to
that.
me.
Well, she could be the nominee.
Diabetes.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yes. Well, you might have to live with it, or you can vote for Vermin Supreme.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
Diabetes.
See, and I also noticed something. Andrew Yang and Tom Steyer have these ads on YouTube. I noticed something. Andrew Yang's YouTube ads are skippable. Tom Steyer's ads are not skippable.
Tom Steyer is in your face. Well, no, his ads aren't skippable because they're so short.
Really?
His ads are really short. You haven't noticed that? Tom Steyer's ads are really short.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, true. They're like 6 to 7. They're like cut off in the middle, and they're like 6 to 7 seconds long, and it's like you get Oh yeah, back in 2018, I brought up Trump's impeachment, and I was like, what? Huh?
Right.
What?
Yes,
Where?
he did. Yes.
Diabetes.
I hope Trump doesn't have diabetes.
I gotta give it to the guy. The only thing I like about the guy is his belt buckle is really nice. His big old Texas belt buckle.
Who?
Tom Stiers.
Oh, I didn't.
His outfit's pretty good. I'm gonna give it to him
I
there.
don't really look at dudes' belt buckles much, but I'm glad you like his big belt buckle. Wilford Brimley
I walked
also.
into that one.
Wilford Brimley has a big belt buckle.
Diabetes.
He's got. It's in this video I keep playing. Candace Johnson flashing the peace sign. Mike Pelopito says. And Cocoon, Waltius Reed. Oh, referring to Wilford Brimley because he was in Cocoon. And what was the other? I missed the comment. There was another movie that Wilford Brimley was in. I missed it. I'm scrolling back and now I don't see it. But Wilford Brimley, he was also in a show called Our House, I think. Hello to Peter White.
Peter!
Who joins us in the Facebook live chat.
Diabetes.
That's the man of the hour.
Peter White does not have diabetes, I don't think.
Nah.
I mean,
Peter White does not have diabetes.
Right.
Diabetes.
He might have other ailments, but
I definitely I have
Swamp ass.
but he does not have diabetes. Very important. Stefan is asking, what is your platform, Christian? Because you have expressed an interest in running. You want to be Wilford Brimley's VP, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I didn't misunderstand something. Sometimes I misunderstand things, you know?
Diabetes.
Wait, he said platform?
Yes. What is
I'm
your
gonna
platform?
run as a table. Because the table's a platform.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. You made it funny.
I attempted to.
Yes. Wow. That's remarkable.
That's why. That's why I don't stick. That's why I don't go into comedy. I stick with like music and action sports.
Sure. Okay. Well, as long as you don't, ever joke about any health issues, because that's in poor taste.
Like diabetes.
Right.
Diabetes.
Right. Yeah. So you have no platform. You need to think it through.
Oh gosh.
We have a call. Let's grab this.
Oh boy.
Perhaps this is
We have
someone
a
who
call.
will suggest some platform positions for you.
Maybe.
Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Is it me?
I don't know. Is it you?
Oh, wow. This is such an incredible honor to speak to you, sir. I'm calling from the UK, and
Wow.
your name's made its way across the pond over here to the UK, and people over here are actually incredibly fond of you. In fact, everyone in my hometown will be absolutely chuffed to know that I have had the pleasure of speaking with John Hopwood.
Oh, wow. Well, John Hopwood is not here. Would you like to speak with virtual John Hopwood?
No, not really. Bye.
Geez,
All
how
right,
much
bye-bye.
dope have you smoked? I mean,
No.
Party hard, right?
Never mind.
God.
Virtual.
Wow.
Virtual John Hopwood. Never mind. He already hung up.
Oh, I know it's on the TV.
Well, it's too late. Virtual John Hopwood. So it's,
Wow.
Yeah, well, let's say it. Come and say it in person. Come
Yeah.
say it to my face.
He can. He's all the way across the pond.
yeah, he's in the UK. So we can't.
Oh, about 7 or 8 inches.
No, let's not even get into that. Boy,
Whoa.
I'll tell you.
Whoa.
what.
Whoa.
So,
John.
well, John Hopwood will be very disappointed that he missed a call from the UK. Stephen Philbrook is laughing at Peter White's issue there. I think that's terrible, Stephen. Peter is your friend.
Don't. Wow.
So
Wait, I'm
you shouldn't,
surprised Stefan's even awake after all the partying I heard he did
definitely,
last night.
I have osteoporosis.
Yes. Well, we shouldn't laugh at that. It's not funny to laugh at all these
Diabetes.
all these terrible
I'm
things.
sorry.
Stefan says.
Forgive me.
Stefan says. Excuse me, Andrew Yang 2020 because blank ties. I can't say that word.
Maybe Andrew Yang will box me, man. I don't know. Someone's got to box me. No, we started this how long ago?
Andrew Yang will not box you because he's an Asian man who loves math.
Okay, so he can use his mathematics on me.
Right, and he will.
9 plus 10. Let me think. And while I think, he punches me in the face and knocks me out. End of match. Knockout. KO. He wins.
Stephen Philbrook says almost time for a virtual hoppy conversation with Ghost of John McCain. Yeah, those two.
Oh boy.
It is true that they have kind of an acrimonious relationship, the two of them. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
The ghost of John McCain and virtual John Hopwood. I think even the real John Hopwood is not that fond of the ghost of John McCain for whatever reason. So you have no policy positions.
No.
Well, what kind of a candidate are you?
I don't know. I just want to run. Maybe. Well, you see, if Trump can win, I can win. Come on, he was a billionaire. Yeah, I'm not a billionaire, but
Well, neither is he.
oh, not anymore. Well, whatever. How many dollars he has?
Well,
He's
no
about to
one,
be broke
no
anyway.
one really knows.
I'm John McCain.
Uh-oh, the ghost of John McCain is here, yes.
Come say it to my face.
Well, the ghost of, John McCain ran several times,
I have been a consistent reformer.
Yeah, see? But wasn't enough to win.
Come say it to my face.
Yeah, see?
Well, he's never around. I haven't seen John in a long time.
Absolutely not.
No. Well, he's been here quite a bit.
I haven't seen him.
Grow up. Grow up. Live in the real world.
Well, he can't
right?
he can't live in the real world. He's dead.
That's
Oh, you're exactly right.
Yeah. That's why he's the ghost of John McCain.
I hate being bored.
Well, you're awfully cantankerous, and he should have more. Shouldn't he have more respect for the dead?
Yeah, for real, John.
Virtual John Hopwood.
I thank you, my friend.
You're welcome, ghost of John McCain. I apologize for the attitude of virtual John Hopwood. And he's very, very.
If intelligence was electricity, this guy couldn't spark a firefly's ass.
Well, you're talking about the ghost of a former United States senator, sir, and a war hero.
That requires a cool hand at the tiller.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm not an imbecile.
All right, no one said you were ghost of
Whatever.
Apparently the ghost of John McCain.
Whatever.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Well, this is going
Those
places
kind of
real
remarks
quick.
are very hurtful.
the ghost of John McCain's feelings are hurt, Chris.
Yeah, man. I'm hurt
Yes. Well.
by John Hopwood's comments there.
Yes. Well.
Is that a pizza place?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we need to. You know what we need to do is get that. I have an idea. We need to get that medium that was on the morning show with Peter White in here to do a ghost clearing to get rid of the ghost of John McCain.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's all we can do.
That's an
Or we got to get
interesting
Christian to
statement.
bring in his guitar. again.
Right.
And-
Well, why don't you bring in your guitar?
My
I don't know. I was in a
brain
rush
is
tonight.
clogged with all sorts of stuff. Twinkies. My neurons weren't wired on a matrix from a gambling program used on your social media. I mean, my God.
What an attitude.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
But yeah, no. I'm working third shift from now on, so I'll be on a little bit more. So I'll definitely bringing my guitar. I had an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about it. Well, I tried to post it out on social media. I wanted to
We can do it.
work with somebody to get a parade. I mean, get a float in the Christmas parade.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go spend some money on audio equipment and everything, and I'd do like a float, and I'd
Right.
be performing on the float. But it's not looking like that, so I think I'm gonna end up just busking on Elm Street that night.
You're just gonna busk one out
Yeah.
on Elm Street. Very nice.
Do a little show, do a little Christmas show,
I want to win, obviously.
Good.
do something like that, and get a few dollars
Right. Yeah.
and be able to
I strongly disagree
play for
with
people.
your assertion.
And now that I actually have money, I can up my performance, and I'm gonna be getting a bunch of new equipment. Now.
Right. Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Ooh, yeah.
Sounds like something John would say.
That's virtual John Hopwood.
Yeah.
He's a little negative sometimes.
Yeah, he really
doesn't-
is.
It sounds like he doesn't believe you, but
That's okay.
yeah.
Oh, jeez. Did you have to smoke that crap, too?
Yeah, I did. Is there an issue with it? No,
No,
I'm
no,
joking.
it's-
I am
boy.
joking.
Wow. What a stunning life you must have. What a stunning worldview.
He's very mean today. I apologize, Christian.
Listen here, John.
So you're gonna be busking.
I'm about to cut a promo on this man.
Oh my goodness.
What does that? Oh, wow. How stunning. What a stunning wit.
Oh my.
Yeah, it
What a
was stunning
jackass.
wit.
Jeez. Wow. He's just very mean to you.
He really
I don't
is.
know why you tolerate him.
I mean, do you
I
think
can't knock
you
him out.
disturb me at all? You're just
Like a
wasting
boxer would do,
airtime.
'cause he's not here.
I mean, come
Just
on,
kidding.
dude.
Right. Well,
You're
We love John.
stupid. What a jackass.
Jeez.
Wow, that's hurtful.
He's very
man.
cruel. He's very, very cruel.
That's a whole nother level right there.
I think you could take him. I think you could take him in a celebrity boxing match. Virtual John Hopwood. Not the actual John Hopwood, of course.
No, I wouldn't touch the actual John Hopwood.
No.
Virtual John Hopwood.
I'm taking my hat off to you. You got me.
No, see?
You
You
heard?
have bested him.
You heard? See, he's running away too, just like everybody else does,
Yep.
guys.
Anybody
else out there who wants to box me, please?
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
I asked Michael Martineau the other day when he was here, and I think I might have asked EZG at one point. Have you ever spoken in tongues?
Huh?
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to learn to do because I think it would be really cool to be able to speak in tongues, and I'm wondering, like, here's a sample. You know, speaking in tongues.
Nope.
Oh, go ahead, give it a try.
Mobaka Sasa. I don't know. No, I definitely can't do that.
But what if, like, see, what I'm trying to do is, I tried to do this the other day when Michael Martineau was here, but I think he was making me nervous because he wasn't very, I like Michael very much. He's a wonderful person, but not the most nurturing soul. Like, I could have used some encouragement. I could have used someone to say, yes, Matt, I think you can do this. And I wasn't getting that from him. I wasn't getting that validation and that encouragement. And that just,
Oof,
sometimes, like when I'm trying to do
man.
something really important, like speak in tongues, sometimes I just need someone to, to say, yes, Matt, I believe in you and your ability to speak in tongues. And it just wasn't happening.
I believe you can do it, Matt. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to try. Let me play this again, and then I'll give it a try.
All right, guys, he's listening to it. He's warming up. He's warming up. Speaking tongues. He's becoming one. Here we go.
Mikasa, Sukasa, Baklava. Going to... man. See, you know what? I'm trying too hard. I need to relax and let the spirit move me.
Give it again. Give it one more shot.
All right.
One more shot.
I need Paula's inspiration. Paula White, she is married to Jonathan Cain of Journey. Very important.
This is round 2 of Matt trying to speak in tongues.
Mabara Casa Maka Baka Casa Maka Baka Casa Maka.
Okay, so the beginning, you definitely had it at the beginning. Definitely had it at the beginning of both tries.
I felt like at the end. Now, what worries me about this, Christian, is I don't want to, like, I want the spirit, right, to come over me and move me,
you.
right, to flow through me. But I'm worried, like, what if I'm possessed by a demon?
Oh boy!
And then instead, and this was my discussion with Michael the other day, and my head starts spinning, and I'm just like, "Blah!" You know what I mean? That would be frightening. I mean, what would you do if all of a sudden, like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like trying to get, and then like my head starts spinning, and I'm vomiting everywhere, and like fire shoots out of my eyes or something? I mean, how scary would that be?
I don't know. I don't know. That'd be scary.
Brian Mackey, I think he thinks I said Chewbacca when I was
sounded like it. I heard baklava and Chewbacca.
Speaking in tongues, yes. Well, I don't think Chewbacca. You know what happens if you eat too much baklava?
Diabetes.
Right. So
Diabetes.
Yes.
Diabetes.
I tried baklava once, and I'll tell you what, it was like, I remember biting into it, and it was so rich and sugary. I was like, I felt as though I had literally just bitten into diabetes or diabetes. So, let's see. Mike Pelopita is encouraging you to try speaking in tongues. I think you should try.
Me?
I think you should try it. Here, let me play this again. We'll give you a little inspiration.
All right.
Just let the spirit move you.
I think it passed over me. I think it went that way.
No. Just let
Mobaka something. That's that one. That's that attempt, folks.
that's just no. You just gotta
Maybe
think
if
about,
I scream. No.
That's the key. That's the key, right? Because that's how she starts. I think you just unlocked something, right?
See, right there. She screams. She's screaming. She releases her energy.
Right. Yes.
All right, let's do this.
All right. So it's like, okay, here we go. I'm going to let the spirit move me. I'm going to pretend I'm married to Jonathan Cain from Journey, which is weird because that's not my thing. But that's okay. It's, I don't judge. Everybody can do what they want. Okay, here we go. And I love Journey. I mean, any way you want, it's a great song. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, so. I released too much energy. I just released too much energy, and then I had no tongues in which to speak because I released all that energy with the blah. Like, all right, let me try it again. It's it was too much. Okay, here we go. See, I keep releasing. I have too much energy to release, and then it just feels so good to just let it all out, and so the spirit can come in, and I can, sound like I'm having a stroke on the air or whatever. But which actually, I have that issue sometimes with John Hopwood because he'll start.
Wait, he has a stroke on the air?
Well, sometimes he'll start mispronouncing things and mumbling and whatever, and I always tell him, I hate when you do that, John. Because I'm concerned that you're having a stroke. Peter White says, I have a request. Can you play Napalm Death's You Suffer? It's the shortest song ever made. Thought Christian could cover it next time he plays out. Ooh.
You know what? I think I can.
You think you can?
I'm working on my set list right now for the whole Christmas show. I'm doing mainly Christmas shows, but I'm doing a lot of covers. I have been grinding. I've been learning a lot of covers. In my free time when I'm not working or scootering and breaking myself.
Right. Well, don't break yourself.
Well,
you got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right. So this is, this is literally the shortest song ever made. This is, prepare to be amazed at how quick this is, right? Here we go. This is You Suffer by Napalm Death by request of Peter White of The Morning Show. Here it is. Ooh.
There we go. I like it. That's going to be the one. That's going to be the one.
I want to hear it again.
That's going to be the one, dude.
You Suffer by Napalm Death.
That's going to be the song.
That's going to
get everyone hyped up.
Right.
They're going to get ready for the show.
Yes.
They're going to start throwing money in my guitar case.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. That's the one.
The money will flow.
Definitely.
You should do... You should not even do any other songs.
Nope, that's it. I'm just going to do that one, pack up. I'm going to unpack, do that song, and pack up and leave.
Yes.
Dude, that's the one.
Yes, that is clearly. Now, Mike Pelopita says, good idea, Peter. Yes. Now, I once, I used to play in a lot of bands, played a lot of shows, played a show once at the Bomb Shelter here in Manchester, which is no longer there. It used to be on Eddy Road. But there was this band once that I was there with My Life Crisis at the time, I believe, one of the bands I was in. And there was this band that they had this very complicated setup, and it would take them like a half hour to set up. And they had these really short songs that were like
30 seconds.
Yeah, literally. And they would play their entire set, which would be done and over in like 5 minutes, and then they would break down everything.
Nope.
And this was their thing. No BS. I can't remember the name of the band or anything, but that was their thing.
That's crazy. That's weird. But you know what band I'm excited to see in Manchester again is the Adam Ezra group. They're coming here tomorrow.
I've interviewed Adam Ezra, yes.
Adam Ezra, he has a really nice voice. I was actually listening to him last night. I wanted to see him at Summerfest, but I couldn't make it that day. But I can't make it tomorrow either because I'm training for a big competition on December 1st.
Right.
At Rye Airfield. Well, it's not a competition.
Well, you should plug that.
Well, okay, hold on. December 1st at Rye Airfield, Olay brand, a scooter company, is coming to do a jam session with a bunch of professional scooter riders.
Will Napalm Death be there?
No. Unfortunately, but no,
Okay.
I've started going to Rye a lot more now. I go about 3 to 4 times a week now with my friends Nick and Sarah, and honestly, I think once I get to meet these riders, I'll be able to, work something out and progress more in scooting and hopefully get a sponsor.
Scooting.
Scooting.
Now, what is scooting?
Scooting. Scooter ring.
Because sometimes I say that to like one of our cats. Like I'll get home and our cat Molly is on the couch where I need to sit. And I say to Molly, I say, you got to scoot over. Scoot, scoot.
Scoot, scoot.
And then I pet her. Is it like that or is it something else?
No, it's
Oh.
scooter, like the Razor scooters, but these are professional scooters. These aren't little Razor
So
scooters.
there's no cats involved.
No, there's no cats involved.
I would totally
unfortunately.
go if there were cats. I
I'm
love
sorry.
cats.
Come on, you don't want to see me dropping on a 14-foot vert ramp and
I don't. Whoa! What?
yeah,
Oh
that's my newest
God.
thing. I don't know if you saw the video on my Facebook page, but
I
I
didn't.
attempted it the other day, and I looped out of it and fell down pretty hard. But next,
Right.
I'm going tomorrow to practice and with my friends, and I'm gonna learn a few tricks on vert, and I'm gonna end up hopefully, throwing a few tricks down at that jam that Olay brand is having.
Throwing a few tricks down. Is that what the young people say now?
Yep.
Throwing a few tricks down?
Like doing a few tricks, like
But throwing a few tricks down. I need to be precise about this because, as you know, Christian, it's very important to appeal
Yep.
to a young,
yep.
hip audience.
That's why I'm here, folks.
So I try to stay very hip with the lingo. So these kids who listen, they think I'm a hep cat and
Hep cat.
not some jive turkey. You know, that would be no good. That would be no bueno, as I think the young people say also, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say that, right? So throw a few tricks down.
Yeah.
That's what I do on this show. I throw a few tricks down.
You pull a few tricks out of your sleeve is what you do.
I pull them out of my sleeve and I put them down.
Put them down on the table.
I've got the
man.
tricks out of my sleeve and on the table every day on the show.
Yes, he does.
And that's why the young people listen. They flock to this program, as I'm sure you're well aware. These guys know what I'm talking about.
I feel like I'm one of the only people, like younger kids that listen to the show because I like the show. I like the politics, and I like because I know you, and it's pretty cool to be able to listen to the show and have and
to be able to tell people you know me. I know
Exactly.
you can say it. You can
Exactly.
say it. Yes, it's okay. It won't go to my head. I appreciate compliments, as I mentioned.
But yeah, no, I'm December 1st is the jam session.
Yes,
And
December 1st.
I'm planning on doing a few new tricks that I've really never done before, and it's gonna be, from what I'm hearing, it's gonna be a pretty big crowd, and there's gonna be a lot of riders there, so it's gonna be really hyped up for me because I feed off of other riders. When the other day when I dropped in on that ramp, I dropped in on the 14-foot vert ramp. I was nervous,
Right.
and it took me a good 10 minutes, and then pretty soon I had a pretty big crowd along the railing there,
Yes.
watching me, cheering me on. They're like, "Hey, you got this," and they're like, some of them were like, "I'd never do that." So I'm like, you know what? I gotta send it. I'm not just gonna sit here at the top of this ramp, look down at this.
You got to send it. The young people say
send
that,
it.
right?
Gotta send it.
The young people say that, Daryl. You got to send it.
I typically send mail.
Yes.
Send mail?
No. Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's not
That
happening.
reminds
No.
me, I have to change my mailing address.
No.
I didn't
you
mean
got-
to get to that.
No, you guys, you got to send it.
You gotta send it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta send it off a 14-foot vert ramp, guys, like me.
And throw it down.
But yeah, also I was looking back at this time last year, I got a Facebook notification,
Yes.
and starting last year, I started doing the year in review.
Mhm.
Last year, I typed up a really long paragraph, like almost a page long, and I posted about my year and how that was. And now I have photos and video and audio to document how my year went this year.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm working on an edit that has everything I did this year and that's how 2019 was my year and how I progressed in almost everything I did and set out to do almost everything I did. So I'm excited. 2019's been a year. It's been crazy. I mean, what, almost a month ago, I didn't know what I was doing with it for an apartment.
Right. And you had all these father issues.
Yeah, I had all these father issues, but we settled those.
Right. Yes.
And
which is a
now,
big relief.
Now look at me. I have a full-time job. I'm working all the time, and I have my own apartment. Like, that's crazy.
Waltius Reed in the Facebook live chat says, "You guys, I was jamming on my keyboard with a 4-track and laying down some improv while just watching, and the video only stream, and my jams were gelling so well. That is outstanding." And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Easy G again.
Oh, Easy G. I don't like to play your theme music twice in a show, but let me play this Napalm Death for you. I'll play this Napalm Death song for you instead.
All right.
There we go.
Are you here to cut that boxing?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, what's on your mind,
Hey,
Easy G?
I got a question for Ben Dion. Is he in the room?
Ben Dion is in the room. He's now
heading towards the mic.
Racing to the couch. While we wait for him, I'll play a little bit of this.
Diabetes.
Hello, Ben Dion. Ben Dion, host of the Weekly Dion, is here.
How's it going?
Easy G, Eric
Hello, Ben. I got a question. When are you going to have the 2000 Songwriter of the Year, Amanda McCarthy, on your show, please?
Oh, it's funny you say that, Eric, because she's on next week.
Oh, all right, because I know she's going to be in California next week, so I didn't think she was going to be on your show the day after. Wow, all right.
She's on the show,
cool.
yeah.
Well, next Thursday. Excellent.
Next Thursday,
I'll be listening.
So you're not going to listen this week?
Excellent.
So you're not going to listen this week, and you're not going to cut a boxing promo. Come on.
Wow.
I try to listen every week, and if I can, I'll try to get the replay.
Good. I'm glad, Eric. I'm just giving you a hard time because it's so much fun.
All right. Well, you have a busy week.
We enjoy giving you a hard time.
Going to California for the some kind of award show. Believe it or not.
Yes, Rob's doing.
She's a very busy woman.
Rob's doing a.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Bye.
All right, Easy G, and we'll close out Easy G's call with a little more Napalm Death.
I was trying to plug Rob Azavito's award show.
Oh yes, please.
Isn't it January 11th? He's having the Greatest State of Mind Music Awards up in Concord. There
is that the date?
Yeah,
Diabetes.
I saw the. Sorry, I just got a message from someone who wants to call in. I saw the. What's that thing called? A flyer. I saw a flyer he posted today. That he posted, and I was like, it's looking like it's gonna be really big.
Yeah.
And also, I saw that, isn't it December 7th? There's something going on isn't it at the Rex? There's like a country music showdown.
Oh, that's the flyer I was thinking of. I saw that earlier.
Too.
Yeah.
That's exciting, but
yeah, Rob's got a lot going on. Rob Azavito, of course, host of Granite State of Mind, which you can hear
really
Fridays.
Helped me out when he helped me get that new guitar. He really helped me out.
You can hear that Fridays at 6 p.m. here on WMNH. Yes. You guys, I don't know if you're aware, but I've been trying to. If either of you want to maybe take a shot at it, Christian attempted it, but it was kind of weak. I've been really trying to get this down. The speaking in tongues. Are you guys able to speak in tongues at all?
I got a problem with English, man.
Really? Yeah.
No tongues.
Well, let me just play this Paula White thing, and then tell me if either of you want to give it a try. I've been trying to get this down. Now I've been attempting to. I think the key to it, right, is to just kind of let the spirit move you and just kind of just relax.
And who was that?
Oh, that was Paula White. She's one of Trump's quote unquote faith advisors. I don't know if you're aware of this.
She's advising Trump on faith?
Well, yes, that
makes sense.
Which is shocking in a way because why would Donald John Trump, our godliest of presidents, need any help in that department? He's a Presbyterian, you know.
He typically doesn't need any help in any department.
Right. But yes, she's one of his faith advisors, and I will mention, and this is probably the most important thing about her, she is married to Jonathan Cain of Journey.
Cut it out.
They are married, yes.
Wow.
So, when he's up there playing that, love and touch and squeezing, she's thinking about the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
But very important. But, I mean, what do you think?
All that babble was speaking in tongues? Is that what she's trying to promote?
That is speaking in tongues. That's when the
Spirit
what that is?
That's babble.
You think so?
Blah,
And,
blah, 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 blah.
and many years ago, the Lord saith, he took the people of Babel and created this whole Babel.
Right.
He wanted to mix up all the languages because they weren't getting along very well.
Right.
So he put the kibosh on that, and that's what that speaking in tongues.
Yes.
That's all a Babel. It's
So-
just Babel.
So
I'm not buying it.
So you're skeptical,
Not quite,
Daryl,
quite.
that you don't believe. I mean, she is a very successful televangelist.
Well,
So clearly, she's been blessed with.
she's been spreading something, but I don't believe it's the word of the Lord. I'm not quite sure, but we'll just say, just leave it at that.
Wow.
He's very testy tonight.
He is.
My goodness,
He's on.
yes.
He's on a roll.
Don't get me started.
Oh,
Get it out this show, please.
Right. Ben lets me, spew on your show, Matt. Thank you very much, because he doesn't allow this kind of talk on his show.
right. He doesn't allow you to talk about Paula White, and she's spreading something, and that's
Rumors. That's what she's spreading. Is
that
rumors.
verboten on the Weekly Dion.
Oh yeah.
I
That's a
understand.
whole nother Weekly Dion show.
Right. I see.
After
yes.
hours.
After hours.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
You know what? We could
The
have an
Weekly
after hours
Dion
show.
after hours.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I do a show called Matt Connarton Unsheathed, as you know, which is only available on the dark web, and I'm legally prohibited from telling you how to find it. But that is certainly not on WMNH, and that
No.
I kind of like the sound of that.
comes
That
on around
show's
3.
pretty crazy.
Oh, you do you, Daryl?
Oh yeah.
Well, oh my goodness, I'm surprised. I think I'm blushing. Very good. Well, yeah, I couldn't get Christian to really speak in tongues either. I mean, he gave it a little bit of a try. but,
I gave it a half-hearted attempt.
yes. Waltius Reed says Tower of Babel. Matt, can some shows get into history or philosophy or Bigfoot?
Bigfoot.
I don't know. You guys know anything about Bigfoot?
No.
Nope.
Hopwood sometimes calls me Bigfoot
Cut it
because
out.
he does, because he's very insulting about my Yeti heritage.
Did you guys hear what he said to me earlier? The virtual John Hopwood, he went off on me.
Virtual John Hopwood was very mean to Christian
I
earlier.
went so hard I had to cut a boxing promo on him.
He did, yeah. He was very, very cruel.
Yeah, if you guys
Or-
don't know, I'm cutting
You
boxing
don't have
promos on
anything
everyone
to
now.
say.
Yeah, he just,
The shtick it sucks.
yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he's just very mean to you.
What a jackass.
You know what, John? Go eat eggs, okay?
What does that? Oh, wow. How stunning. What a stunning wit.
I'm not
Oh
going
my
to
God,
fight
are
with
great.
someone
so
I can't see, John.
devastated.
I like those clips a
Oh
lot.
my God, I'm so devastated.
Yeah, he's very cantankerous.
Who was he?
Here's like a poster child. Well, everybody in the world thinks fatuous white guys, Americans are imbeciles.
He called you a-
and the privileged and just plain worthless.
He called you a fatuous white guy. I'm sorry.
He called me a fatuous white guy. He called me an imbecile. And he called me a poster child.
Yes. What were you going to say, Ben?
Who was the guest you had on the other day who he was arguing with very passionately? I want to say was it Tuesday?
Yeah, that was Mark Smith from the Abstract Transmissions podcast.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm listening to him like,